Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our final presentation for today. Some will say, okay, maybe only Deb and I, that we save the best for last, accounting in the cloud. Before we start, we have a little housekeeping to look after. For this presentation, all attendees will be muted. Please do not share your video. And you will need to either dial in or call in on the assigned phone numbers to hear the audio. The presentation will be recorded and available in the coming weeks. We'll be publishing a guide as a PDF attachment and will be added to our video library. We'll be taking questions at the end of Deb's presentation. You can either enter your questions into the chat box, or I believe there's a hand, you can put your hand up as well, but we'll take the chat box questions first and then we'll go to the hands that are raised. If we run out of time, we suggest you can easily send support an email with your question, and all questions will be responded to. In the next 60 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever we've got time for, we'll be taking you through our latest and greatest product, Proven Solutions Accounting in the Cloud. We'll be touching on features, dashboards, all of the standard accounting modules, and reporting and analytics. So first, I'm going to tell a little story. Where did it start? I'd like to start by sharing this little bit of history. In 1997, we started development on the first version of PSA desktop. It was a mid-range accounting system that could be used across multiple industries. It was a lofty goal for a company with 5 employees. As we approached the now infamous year 2000, the demand for the new and innovative accounting platforms reached a pinnacle, and Proven Solutions Accounting, or as is better known today as PSA, was launched with great fanfare and success. Along with this flagship product were 8 other vertical market add-ons that made the accounting even more in demand. So where are we going to take it? Forward to 2002, when an industry consultant named Ken Tucker approached us to modify PSA for the insurance restoration industry. And honestly, we didn't know what the insurance restoration industry was. But we took the 200 plus changes Ken requested and turned it into a product called PSA Restoration Contractor. In 2003, containing more than 4 million lines of code, our beta testing was completed and the product was released. Now, I originally thought I'd be saying this next piece in front of a live user conference in New Orleans, but as we know, that's not going to happen just yet. And I expected that it would be playing to the theme from Star Trek or something along that lines in the background. However, you're just going to have to use your imaginations. Now, 2020, in the middle of COVID pandemic, we are showing for the first time the next generation, a truly innovative, technology-packed and groundbreaking product, Proven Solutions Accounting for the cloud. It would have been a lot more effective with the background music, but hopefully your imaginations took place. When I think back to 2010, we started to develop products in the cloud environment, and many of our customers told us, well, we'll never move our accounting data to the cloud. It's never going to happen. Fast forward to 2020, where almost everything is in the cloud. It seems to be a different story today. So what are the advantages? Cloud-based applications have proven to have many benefits, significant cost savings, no longer a need for in-house servers, and of course, constant upgrades and maintenance to keep it running. no longer needing IT services to maintain your server, eliminating or minimizing downtime, information at your fingertips from anywhere you have a browser. How relevant is that today during our global pandemic? Software updates that happen while you're sleeping. I remember not too long ago when we would put a new release of PSA Desktop, it would take us 6 months to upgrade all the customers. So there's also the safety and security of Can-Am's Amazon server farm. We offer unmatched uptime. We have had only 15 minutes of unscheduled downtime in 7 years. Unmatched security, high-end antivirus and firewalls to prevent such things as ransomware. Unprecedented network security provided by one of the world's largest companies, Amazon. 60-second backups, unlimited picture and document storage. Can-Am has made a significant investment in our cloud environment, and we did this to protect your data and your customers' data. Now that we've talked about the benefits of being in the cloud, let's turn this presentation over to Deb to start to show you the real thing. Deb, it's all yours. You're there? Did we lose Deb?
Sorry, I should unmute myself.
Unmute yourself and show the presentation.
Are you not seeing my presentations?
We are not seeing it. We're seeing your teams.
Okay, well, then I have an issue. Excuse me. Is that better?
Much better.
Okay, sorry everyone. Leave it to me to have the technical challenges. Can-Am Systems' new cloud-based accounting is branded Proven Solutions Accounting. One of the highly coveted features is the use of the web services, which basically means that there isn't any sync. This eliminates the sync utility and the ensuing delays and opportunities for informational conflict when using both the desktop and web platforms together. One of the things that I want you to please pay attention to as I'm working through the presentation is the speed of the reaction time. We have some of our larger customers with us that do experience delays when pulling and retrieving certain information, and that's going to be dramatically reduced by using this current platform. One of the first improvements that you're going to see is the cleanness, the crispness. Like our other web-based products, when you're in the login screen, you have the ability to reset your password if and when that's necessary. The very first time that you log in, you will have the ability to complete the initial setup of your user details. Dashboards, something similar to this. Once you log in that initial time and you successfully enter your credentials, your personalized dashboard like this will appear. There's several pieces to this dashboard. We're going to start at the top. We have a header area. Far left is a search. So this search field applies to the entire database. Inside this, you can put any keystrokes you want, numbers, letters. It will search regardless of the module that you're looking for. We have a new button here. When I select it, I can do a real quick jump to if I need an invoice or a new vendor as someone comes into my office and asks for something quickly. Moving across, I have some symbols here. I have a back and a forward. So those are for the levels. If I have selected a module, then perhaps a menu item, and I then selected some details, this will allow me to either move backwards or forwards through the levels. The center is a refresh if I want to push a refresh. I can apply various widgets or pieces of information here. Proven Solutions Accounting is one of the few accounting software solutions that has live updates. So these widgets will continually update. There will be some standard widgets available for quick selection to get you started. A little bit later, I'm going to actually create a simple one. Interesting pieces to the widgets. Once I create a widget, I can select this ellipsis or the 3 dots here, and I can actually share a widget with another user. If I then change my widget, it's essentially created the second one. If I want to share that update, I come back here and reshare. We have notifications. There will be some standard basic notifications set up initially, and they'll be assigned by your administrator based on your role. You will be able to then define more as you move forward. So this will be your opening screen. On the far left-hand side, down the left is a ribbon menu. Selecting the symbol will expand and collapse the menu bar. Moving down, I have a dashboard. I can select my sales and receivables. The module that I've selected here on the left will turn to orange. Then on the right will be more of a grid view. Some of the things that I'd like you to pay attention to and notice here, we have a details button. Selecting it will actually take me into the details. I'll use my back level button to go back. I have a refresh right here to refresh my grid, which is this center pane. Each column will have a filter. In the top right-hand corner of my grid, I have a new record option, but I also have a filter option here as well. When I select it, my pop-out window allows me to enter certain information. So I'm going to start by selecting a column. In this particular column, I'm going to choose invoice number. The filter will contain, and I'm just simply going to put FC here and select a search. Notice that my screen has now changed. I am only looking at finance charges on my screen. I have a blue hyperlink here. If I click that, I can attach a name to this, and I'll just call it finance. Selecting add now puts that view down below. Because I pushed a refresh, my screen returned. to the original. When I select my receivables button, my screen changes. Notice I also have my negative numbers are showing up in red for a quick visual. If I go back to my invoices, that saved view is here, as well as I got an alert that advised what view I was looking at. Up here at the filter, I have a 1 in a red square. That's a badge that's telling me I have applied a filter. The bottom of my screen, if you notice, there is a sum. Very small detail below. It also tells me the number of items in the number of pages that I have for there. I can select my filter, take off my check mark to return to my full screen. My numbers have changed at the bottom that quickly. To the right of the filter options, so this is the global filter for the grid, not the specific filter by column, I have a tools button. Again, these relate to the grid or this particular screen. It's important to remember that these features, filters and groupings and things that we're going to look at are available on every single screen in all of these modules that we're going to be looking at. When I select my tools, again, I have options here. Starting at the top, if I choose to export, I can export into PDF, Excel, Word, CSV. Simply selecting one of them opens up a form that I can finish, and it will give me a nice clean export. I also have the option of grouping by. I can choose to group by a customer number. So you see here, I get some details and it's grouped. I can also select the columns that I show. If I don't want to see the company, I can simply remove that as well. If you notice, all of my screens are refreshing instantly as soon as I click. Very much a click and pick. Each person can choose these various columns for each of the modules as you go. Let's move down to purchases and payables. Again, very similar. I have my refresh, I have filters, tools, but underneath this menu area, you see that there are many different sub-menus, if you will. You know where you're at here by the blue highlight. If I come down to my purchase order close, for example, as I select from that sub-menu, now I have the option of open, and you see that is in blue, or closed items. When I'm sitting on my open, I get a list of my open purchase orders. Placing a check mark and using the blue close button on the right-hand side actually completes that. And notice the alert. When I confirm this, notice the second alert. It tells me that I actually did close a purchase order, but you also notice I didn't have to select that as well. Moving up here to the closed option, I can make a selection, and my blue button on the right has now changed to allow me to open that item. Again, I get asked to confirm. One of the items that our current desktop accounting customers would like is the less times they have to confirm something. So we've tried to remove that extra click in as many areas as we can while still maintaining the integrity and ensuring that accidental errors don't happen. One symbol that you may come across in this accounting is a flashing clock, which simply means that the program is thinking. Anyone that has a significant amount of data inside PSA Desktop now sometimes has had a delay in retrieving the information that you've selected, and you wonder whether or not you've clicked the button. Here in Proven Solutions Accounting, we are choosing a flashing clock. Because this is a seamless integration with Proven CRM and Proven Job Management, all the information is going to smoothly move between the components. Depending on your business model and your personal processes is going to determine which area the entry will be initiated in. Companies enjoying Proven CRM will often have a relationship started there prior to receiving work. If they enter that relationship, that corresponding company will then flow through all of the other pieces. Program-driven customers may generate customers within Proven Job Management initially as you receive assignments. Vendors often will be created from within Proven Solutions Accounting to ensure required information is collected up front. Really important things like making sure your subtrade has general liability insurance or workers' compensation. If I go to my vouchers, I can use a column filter if I like. I can say that this column, I want a number that is higher than $100. Again, very quick. It's going to change. My sums will change at the bottom. And I have the option to clear the filter to return. Very quick. I want to create a quick little widget. To do that, I'm going to jump to my analytics. And log back in. Like the CRM, we have some standard reports that are available. We will have more audit reports for the accounting side. In the desktop, if you're have used the job audit report, we will be having here all the accounting transactions that are available by audit as well. I'll select a report. So as you see, I get a grid. Coming up here, I can select my report view. Different items here on my screen. On my far left, when I take my mouse, I hover and it's very small. It says customize a report here. When I make a selection there, it expands out and I can pick the items that I want. Here I'm going to select from the drop-down job, and I'll add the column, and it comes down here below. Let's add revenue. Again, adding the column. To the right of these columns is a drop-down. where I can create some kind of a calculation. In this case, I might want the sum. Maybe I want my PM. And I can continue to add. I can then give it a title. When I select Create, over on the right is my widget. I have tools here. Once I've created a little bit of a grid like this, using the tools, I can create a pie chart, a bar chart. I can dump this into a pivot table, but I also can add it to my widget dashboard. So that's taking it back to that front screen. And remember, it's at that front screen area that I can share it with other users inside our system. Quick chart. I select my series, I create, and there I can have a quick chart if I like that. I'm going to move towards the chat. Greg wants me to go 3 times faster. I'm not sure. I did. Sorry about that, Greg. Jesse, how many filters can be used? Jesse, as far as I know, there isn't any limit. Okay, we haven't hit a max. Okay, and we're looking at someone from UDK is that you understand we're focusing on the reporting. Can you also show where actual work will be performed? Sure. Up here in sales, you can see that we have new records available up here where I can select my customer, enter my invoice types, all of the details, all of the standard robust accounting features that you currently have in desktop are here. There will be future enhancements, but the basic functionality that we currently have in desktop is here. And when will this be available? And so we are actively working on proven solutions accounting every single day right now. So as we work through the testing, we'll be able to update. And probably in the fall, Scott, do you want to add anything to that?
Jump in. So we're actively now looking for beta testers. So we're going to have 12 customers who are interested in beta testing this in a live environment. We'll probably be coming close to sometime in the summer where we'll open the beta program. Once that beta program is finished, then it will be available to everyone. It'll be available to anybody who wishes to either change from the desktop to the cloud or for new customers coming on. So we're expecting this is, we're calling this an alpha because it's just out of development. And once we do our final beta testing, which means that on the transaction level, we'll put a transaction in on the desktop that we have today. We'll put it in on the cloud, and the pennies from every transaction have to be exactly the same. So once we know that every single transaction, every single journal entry is working correctly to the penny, then it'll be available to the beta community. So again, if you're interested in participating in the beta, you can send an email to sales or to myself, scottp@canamsys.com, and we'll talk to you about what's going to be the requirements for the beta program and when we'll be opening that up. I just also want to say, all the functionality that you have today in the desktop has been recreated in the web. Our screens are far less cluttered. We used a lot of new technology in terms of drop downs and how you pop things up so that you don't have crowded screens. They're clean screens. We've eliminated more than 60% of the clicks that you have in the old desktop, and we'll continue to improve to make it faster to enter, faster to retrieve information, more information available to you. I mean, there was so many restrictions in the desktop in terms of what data you could get at your fingertips with a touch of a button. Those sort of things have been eliminated in the cloud-based accounting. We simply went to different technology, and you'll find that even for the largest customer that we have, accessing data will be a snap. It'll be simple, easy, quick. So those are the things that we're already testing with very, very large, significant amount of data. So we've already seen a significant difference, and we'll continue to make sure that the product before it's released to the public has to be 100%. You can't have an accounting system that's at 95%. So we're very particular about, when you do a financial statement on PSA in the cloud, it will be 100% correct. So those are the things that we have to look forward to in terms of us moving forward and getting it out of beta. Hopefully that answered that little question. Maybe I elaborated too much. Deb, was there other questions there? What you'll see is also, as Deb showed you in some of the first screens, we use a lot of table view now, so that you don't have to filter through a record set like the desktop, that you will see all your records and you can quickly access all. It's not like I have to do some limited search. There's almost no limit to the searches that you can do to find records very, very quickly.
All right. Paul is asking, what features from the desktop will not be available initially?
None. That's an easy one. Everything that's in the desktop will be available in the initial release. It's all the new features that we've been working on for a couple of years. All the multi-location will be there. All the things that you have today will be there in the first release. Okay. As we get into the second release, and whether that's the quarter after that, it'll probably be a quarterly release, at least in the beginning. There's some significant new technology that's coming, and I think if you've spent any time with our CRM or looked at the CRM product, you'll see the kind of technology that we put into the CRM. It's based on exactly the same platform, based on the same data structure. You're going to see a lot of the features that we put into the CRM, SMS built in, all those things, all the mapping, everything, all of that will be available on both platforms. We're using exactly the same technology in the same platform. So you're going to see a consistency as we move forward between those two products and every product after that.
And Christy is asking about receipt capture and approvals, something similar to Search Express.
Not in the first version. So we've actually looked at that. We have an intention. Our intention is to do something. It probably won't even be in the second release, but I would say shortly after that, it'll be available. We definitely have that in mind to make that happen. Yeah, it's in the plans, absolutely. And again, those are some of the new technologies that you don't have today, we'll be adding in.
All right. And Dixie, we have loaded a static piece of information for the presentation. And unfortunately, I don't have the financial statement in there for today. And
as we go, we'll be doing additional presentations. We'll be making a presentation to the user group as well. As we load that into the beta program, there'll be a number of people, I'm sure, from the user group who will participate, and you'll be able to see all that stuff prior to getting onto the beta program.
And Lori is asking to see how to convert a work order into a voucher. Actually, the work order will initially start out on the job management side from the estimate screen, Lori, so that'll be on that side. And there will be budgeting feature, Dixie, that comes out.
Budgeting at the GL level or at the work order level?
No, at the GL, I believe, Dixie.
Yeah, exactly the same budgeting features that we have today in the desktop, where you can budget for the future year, or you can do it by account or globally. All of that will exist in the new version and exists in the new version.
And Monty is saying on the invoice, he didn't see where we actually enter the amount. And will the customer information automatically populate? Yes. Sorry, Monty. I guess I didn't stay long enough on the screen for you to see that.
It looks very similar. The line items are at the bottom, the same kind of look and feel. You header on the top, line items on the bottom with a scroll feature. Again, very, very clean looking, so it's nice and easy to see everything. The current invoice screen is very cluttered when you get into the line items with all the fields. That certainly look has changed. So yeah, you're going to see, again, very simple to select a customer from the. We use a lot of drop-down boxes, and we've also used the ability to tab. Like most tab applications aren't really built for tabbing, but we felt in the accounting system that was an important feature, and so we'll have something similar to being able to tab from field to field for your data entry.
And Carolyn is asking if there will be the ability to import the data from QuickBooks, and yes, there most certainly will be.
Absolutely, yeah. We have import routines today that we use for the desktop, and those import routines will be applied to the cloud-based version as well.
And Monty is asking if we will have the ability to bill customers electronically and have them pay you similar to QuickBooks invoicing.
So we are actually looking at that. We have to draw in a third-party processor, and we have two that we're talking to today. So the plan is to be able to do that. The issue is with a portal for the customer to be able to access that portal. And QuickBooks does it not through their own, but they do it through a third-party processor as well. You just don't see the third-party processor. The same idea. We will have that. That won't be available in the first version or the first release, but definitely we've discussed it, and we'll be taking a look at how we can make that happen. I see the last question just says GL. Maybe.
Oh, that was Dixie when you asked whether the budgeting was in the general ledger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're
Again, everything that you see in the desktop today, that functionality will exist in the cloud. Okay, we didn't leave any functionality out. So yeah, it makes it easy to say yes. Is it going to be there? Absolutely, it will be there if it was in the desktop. Must be more questions. Again, I think certainly the analytics part. You don't have today in the desktop the ability to analyze data in the system and present it in a very quick and real-time fashion, and build your dashboards exactly the way you want them, based on user, based on company. There's so much more that you can do in terms of getting the data to you in real time and in exactly the way that you want. So that's one of the most significant from the desktop to the cloud. Okay. Other questions? Need time to think about it. Or are they just going to make it easy for us today?
I think they're cutting us some
There
slack.
you go. How about for reports? All reports on the desktop will be available. So I'm going to say not all the reports in the desktop will be available on the cloud. We had, I think today we have 800 plus reports on the desktop. And, we built reports based on anybody's, in the early days, on any request you had for a report, we built it. And what we found over the years is that, probably more than half of the reports were never used, just never used. So we're going to be selective about, getting really good quality feedback from the user group. We'll have all the base reports that you require for every accounting system. And a lot of the custom ones may not be available, but again, because you can build reports out of the accounting system, there's no reason why you can't have a customized report for yourself that you build. I think that, again, to start off with 800 reports that the majority of people are not going to use, it's probably a waste of our programming time. And we'd rather give you, new and innovative, and it deals with performance and good quality information and so on, and easy to use. So yeah, we'll have a lot of all the base reports that you'd expect in any accounting system will be there. So I see here another question about, can you show okay, so there's the dashboard. Again, the dashboard is built from widgets. So you can go and build a report, convert it to a widget, and put it basically on your dashboard. There's no real limit to what you, again, it should be driven by each individual. What is it that you need to see every day? What are the things that the job that you do? And what data do you need to make that job easier? So it's the dashboard that is made up of widgets. It could have mapping on it. It could have all kinds of things that you can put. Again, if you have a chance to look at the CRM and what they've done on the widgets in there, you kind of get an idea of what's possible. So probably what's possible is your imagination, right? Somebody says, so it's Lori, I think. Still confused about converting work orders to vouchers. So where you convert work orders to vouchers is in the job management system, right? When you bring up a work order on the work order screen, you have the ability to go and convert it there. And when you convert there, it will create the voucher or the invoice here in the cloud-based accounting. Hopefully that's a little clearer. Okay, the next one is, will we be able to do the job cost update? Job cost update. I believe that happens in the new accounting. To be honest with you,
yes. Yes, that's posting the time cards.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That appears in the new accounting. And we did out some of what you see in the desktop with job management. We split out the functions that were really job management functions and accounting functions. So you're going to find that the things that already exist in the proven job management will end up there. They won't end up in the accounting anymore. Wow, that's a great question from Kevin. Right now, the WIP calculator is a push. You have to push the button to make that run. But again, that's probably something that we'll discuss with the user group to see if that's something that people want updated automatically on each transaction. Currently that's not in our thinking, but it's a very, very interesting question. Very interesting. Good question, Kevin. Sorry, I may have missed over top of one. I think we had another one from UDK. How about report customization? Can you do your own reports? Deb, I don't know what we've got active in the report section in there. Is there, or if Tolga's on, he may be able to talk about that a little bit. I don't know if you're both muted or was just me talking.
You're doing such a good job. Actually, we didn't load the reports, Scott.
Okay. So yeah, you'll be able to build your own reports or build some of your own reports in there. Obviously, we'll have all the base reports. And then I think when Deb sort of took you into the analytics part and showed you how easy it is to build a report in there. So there is the ability to build your own reports. Oh, calculator, sorry, Tolga. Yes, so Tolga's just confirming yes, you can build your own report. Will you be able to enter vouchers such as Home Depot and link to jobs and still account for it on the work order as material? Deb, do you understand what's being asked there? Kathy.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but absolutely, you will be able to enter vouchers in the accounting just like now. It doesn't have to come from a work order, but it can. You have both options.
Yeah. So you're just talking about, so if you're just, you can just go in and create a voucher and link that to a job. Absolutely. You can do that in a desktop today, and you can do that in the new system. Analytics is our report builder. Yeah, so the analytics, that's Tolga just responding back. So yes, in the analytics, that's where the report builder is. Not the report section will just be published reports, whereas in the analytics, that's the report builder. At first, it started out slow with the questions, then there was a flurry. Now people are thinking it's Miller time. Not for the people on the West Coast. Still early, guys. You still got half a day to go. Questions? Any other questions? Anything that other things you would like to see that we can go into? Again, we have limited data in this alpha that we brought up here, but what we can show you, we'd be happy to. It's more, I want to give everybody the concept of how the interface has changed, how simple things will be to enter data and to access data. Will you have expanded interface with more banks? Right now in the current desktop, we have an interface for the EFTs that deals with an international banking standard. So if you're with Bank of America, they use the international banking standard. In Canada, we have our 6 major banks already comply with the accounting standard. It's just a matter of adjusting some of the fields. In the US, you have, 100,000 banks, and not all of them comply with the international standard. So if your bank complies with the international standard, it's not a problem. If it doesn't, we have to look at modifying the EFT routine to accommodate whatever your bank's data format is. Can we do balance sheets by location? Yes, you'll be able to do balance sheets by location. Our bank is not supported. Monty, I don't know which bank you're with, but we can always send us a quick email and we'll take a look and see what it is you've got, and whether they usually from the bank's website, they will give us the support information and whether they comply with the international standard. And so we can take a look at that for you. Oops, you just moved that up on me. Sorry. And if so, so the question is, will you still run the WIP calculator and WIP revenue to close jobs? And if so, is this done through the cloud? So yes, the intention is to do that through the accounting. It was really never a job function. It was just because the job management happened to be in the desktop when we first built it, that we left it there. So inventory tracking. So in this version, there is an inventory tracking. There is a simple inventory where you can pull from inventory descriptions and items, but we don't track inventory in this version. It might be available down the road, but we have less than 2% of our customers who actually use inventory for tracking of inventory. Can an invoice number be tied to withdrawals and credit card entries to avoid duplicate entry payments like it is in the vendor voucher screen?
I am not sure what you're asking, Lori. Can you
maybe elaborate a little bit on that? So the next question is, will the incentive calculations still be just as they are, or will there be some more flexibility or customization? Initially, it'll be exactly the same. We will, and I've already put that on the table, we will be taking a look at how that all runs and processes and what flexibility we can add to that. The next question on reporting revenues. We offer multiple services, board up, mitigation, contents, restoration, etc. Separate the revenue accordingly. Currently, we have to create a new job for each type of service revenue stream being provided for one customer from start to finish. Will we be able to create one job in the job screen and track multiple revenues and expense categories within the job rather than having to create a separate job for each? Well, Deb, you may want to add to my explanation, but the reason that we do that today is because the gross margins on job types are so different. So from a mitigation to a rebuild is a significant difference in gross revenue, or should be. And we allow you in the desktop then to merge that information together if you want a single invoice, or if you want to look at the cost for an entire job, right, from the board up to the rebuild. In the desktop, in the cloud, it's going to be very similar. We're still basing it on job type and on the gross margin for each of those jobs. The reporting is what will be different. So in the reporting part, it'll be a lot easier to get and look at that as a single job based on the job number and grouping those together.
Just to add to that a little bit, in addition to the difference in margin, oftentimes there's different phases of a claim for invoicing purposes. Lots of contractors don't want to wait until the contents are returned to the home to invoice the entire job, as an example. You can certainly generate different categories. So if you have some short-term phases, you could certainly put those all into one file and segregate them by using categories and selectors. But the other part of it is some carriers want to have different files. So it's really a choice. I have recently seen some carriers want to do a full service file where they're asking for everything to be together and you have a blended percentage. So if that's your situation, it can certainly be done. I wouldn't necessarily want to go there simply for the cash flow part of that.
So Deb, there's a next question. Maybe you want to answer this. It's regarding Home Depot payments through credit card entries.
Okay, so doing Home Depot payments through credit card entry, and okay, so if they're using an invoice number the second time around, there's not an alert. Yeah, we can certainly take a look at that. I would have to just look at it myself, Lori. I wasn't aware that it didn't tell you that.
I don't see that as being an issue in the cloud. Again, the technology is different, and we probably in the credit card screen will be checking for duplicate numbers. So the next one, Deb, is how will materials work? So again, the materials portion, most of the materials will be entered and dealt with through the job management system, in the cloud. So Proven Job Management will deal with materials for work. Are you talking about materials that you store in a warehouse? And maybe you could just elaborate on that a little.
So if you're working inside your job and you are building your budget, if you will, you're going to have a work order that you can convert for those material purchases. When you convert that from the job management side, it will then create a voucher that you would post. So you can purchase materials. Like Scott said, we're not going to do the inventory tracking right off the bat, but you will be able to purchase materials to the job.
We're coming down to the last few minutes, so get your typing fingers out, ask a few more questions. I think maybe people are beginning to feel the taste of Miller time.
I'm looking at our attendees, and
they're dropping a little.
I want to thank so many. I saw some of these names first thing this morning, so I really, really appreciate you devoting your day to us, and I hope everybody is staying safe.
Thank you very much from all the staff here. I think I want to just thank all the presenters today as well. While we still have everybody, great job everyone on presenting all these new products. Thank you so much for coming out and spending your time today with us to look at what we've done and what we have moving forward. We really appreciate it, and keeping everybody up to date now through the website and through other means, through the user group and so on, with all the progress that we've shown you today and all the things that we will have in the coming months. So again, thanks very much for today. Thanks for your time, and everybody please stay safe.